If you open up YNAB and your list of categories makes you want to immediately close YNAB, then this video is for you. I think a lot of people try to make YNAB work by making it more detailed. More categories, more targets, more little buckets for every possible version of life. And honestly, that instinct makes sense to me. I'm a little bit that way myself. If money has been feeling unclear, then more detail can feel like the responsible move. It feels like, okay, if I can just name every possible thing, then maybe I will finally feel in control. But sometimes the category list gets so detailed that the YNAB plan stops helping you make decisions. Managing YNAB becomes a second job. And if you already have a job and a family and a house and 12 subscriptions you forgot existed until they hit the credit card, well, then a second job made of tiny money categories may not be the calming experience you were hoping for. So maybe try reframing it this way. Your YNAB categories are not there to prove that you thought of everything. Your YNAB categories are there to help you make your very next money decision. That's it. Most of the value in YNAB comes back to a few simple questions. How much money do I have right now? And what is this money for? So if your category setup helps you answer those questions, then great. But if your category structure makes it harder for you to answer those questions, then your setup may be too complicated for this season of your life. This has nothing to do with being good or bad at YNAB. It may just mean that you're trying to use some kind of advanced precision before you've established the basic loop of how to make YNAB work for you. And if you're listening to this thinking, yeah, that's exactly where I get stuck. I make the whole thing way too complicated, and now I do not want to touch it. This is the kind of thing I help people clean up. We can look at your actual plan in YNAB. We can simplify the confusing parts, and we can build something that you understand well enough to keep using. If you want help making YNAB finally work for you, click the link in the description to work with me. Okay, here's a practical shift for you to consider. I would not start by asking, what is the perfect category structure? I get that question a lot. I feel like there's whole discussion groups in the YNAB community dedicated to this question. Instead, I'd start by asking which categories would actually help me make decisions if I had them in my plan. For example, if you have separate categories for things like restaurants, coffee, lunch at work, takeout, date night, fast food, and convenience meals, maybe that detail is actually useful to you. But maybe it's just 7 different places to feel vaguely disappointed when you look at your YNAB. If all those categories are to help you make the same decision, which is basically how much money do we want to spend on food outside the house, then maybe 1 or 2 categories would work better. So maybe you just have a category for dining out, or maybe dining out and a separate one for date night if date night is emotionally different for you and you want to protect that. The point is not just to have fewer categories. That's not some kind of achievement. The same thing applies to subscriptions. Some people need a category for Netflix, Spotify, iCloud, software, memberships, and apps, all separated because they want to see each one clearly. I am that person. Last time I checked, I have over 20 categories in my YNAB just for various subscriptions. But other people just need one category called subscriptions because the only useful question for them is, do I still want to be spending this much money on recurring stuff? Neither version is superior to the other. The right version is the one that you will actually use. Here's an exercise you could try. Look at your YNAB and pick one category group, not the entire plan. Please do not try to solve your entire financial life before dinner. Just pick one group. Maybe for you, that's food, or a category group called fun or true expenses. Doesn't matter. Then look at each category within that group and ask yourself, does this category help me make a different decision? If it does, keep it. And if not, merge it with some other category. And if you're not sure and you just want to try it on for size, you can always hide a category and bring it back or delete it when you've made up your mind. And here's where I want to say I would pay special attention to categories that might cause you to feel any kind of guilt. Sometimes people create categories in their plan as tiny little courtroom exhibits. Like, here's exactly how much I spent on coffee. And here's exactly how much I spent on random snacks. And here's exactly how much I spent because I was tired and I didn't want to cook. I can relate to that. I get it. But if the category mostly helps you prosecute yourself or make yourself feel bad, it may not be helping you at all. It may be doing way more harm than good. Maybe a better category might be something like convenience and support. That category name seems to get to the heart of the matter for a lot of people. It says, sometimes I want to spend money because life is full and I need support. Some days I just need my life to be a little bit more convenient and a little bit easier because I've got a lot on my plate. See, now that is a way more useful conversation than staring at 6 tiny categories and feeling like you failed because you couldn't predict how much money you wanted to spend on each of them. So if your YNAB plan has been feeling a little overwhelming lately, try simplifying toward usefulness instead of high definition detail. Keep all the categories that answer a real question for you or help you make real decisions. And then just delete or merge the ones that are just creating noise. Remember, you can always add categories later. So this isn't like you're deleting financial maturity or data or something like that. What you're doing is you are making your plan usable enough to come back again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. To set your expectations, the payoff here is not that your categories are going to become perfect. There's just no such thing. Stop worrying about it. The payoff is when opening YNAB starts to feel less like walking into a messy closet and more like checking in with a plan that you can understand and control. And if the next thing you want to entangle is why your credit card feels confusing in YNAB, even though you pay it off in full every month, watch this video next.